Hello and welcome, Reds. Thank you very much for tuning into Anfield Road TV. It's been a while, a very long while. It's been a week, so I apologise that there's been no content and apologies that there's a bit of lag. I will be shooting off very quickly, but the two gentlemen that we're tonight will be taking over a little brief moment. Very capable hands, as you know. But Connor, how you doing, mate? Spider. Hope you're all well. And most importantly, everyone, you've been looking after yourselves. We're going to be just discussing, obviously, the big talking point to come out of today. People probably already spoke about it, but we'll have a little gander, have a little talk what it means for Liverpool, what it means for Manchester City, most importantly, what it means for the rest of Europe as well, and the football pyramid, teams in League Two and whatnot. And obviously, a little bit of news on Florian Plattenberg, of the Bundesliga journalist, has come out with a little tweet discussing Naby to where his future does lie, and potentially, as we all expected, is away from Liverpool Football Club. So a bit about on that as well, and obviously a bit of news, well, a bit of talking points really, and what is going wrong at Liverpool. There's a lot of factors, as we know, and as I said, everyone. But hope you're all keeping well. Massive thank you, gents, for joining me, everyone on the panel, and let's pick up everyone's comments as well. And as I said, it's been a week, everyone. A lot can go by in a week of football, especially football. I hope you all watching or listening have had a great week and you're keeping well, everyone. So, big up Shay. How are we doing? Yeah, surprised I remember how to switch on the bloody computer chat. Going to be okay. I erased the results from my memory, Shay. As I said, been doing a lot of work, but as I said, of course, but as I said, a week ago, or you might as well have just watched instant post-match reaction, because it's exactly from the FA Cup result. We would have been all saying the exact same things for 3-4 results on the bounce. We all know the deficiencies within Liverpool at the minute, but we'll discuss that tonight and get the lads' thoughts as well. But big old Hannah, good evening, boys. Jensen, obviously Mark, absolute legend. Thank you very much for dropping in thanks as well. All right, Tom, the ever finally won 3 points, Tom? Not that far off us at this date, mate, but obviously Tom will be on the channel this week. Obviously, the Merseyside derby. Christ, we can't lose that. But big Sean Dyche, the Premier League. He's back in charge in the Premier League, and great results against Arsenal anyway this weekend. But big up, Lil. How you doing, mate? Hope you're having not too bad. And obviously, Amond as well. Big up, lads, as well. But obviously, the first two, not sports related, obviously, but thoughts do have to go to everyone affected with obviously the tragedies, and as Liverpool Football Club do say, our thoughts are with all those who are affected by the devastating earthquake in Turkey and Syria as well. So thoughts on us three, and obviously the Liverpool community and everyone affected. Obviously, hopefully everyone is rescued, and just hopefully everyone support around the world and very much sends all their love and prayers, and hopefully everyone that has been affected, we all are thinking of you as well. And obviously 65 years since the Munich disaster, so thoughts for obviously all the Manchester United family as well, thinking of obviously that great legendary side that was sadly taken away from football all those years ago. But gents, back on to obviously a big day. Spider, I hope you're well, mate. As I said, I've been gaming with you off camera. As I said, chat. Let us know what you've been doing to take your mind away from football.
I don't think I've ever done as much YouTube content more than you in the last week or so. And I've barely done anything. That's weird, because I just do watch-alongs and stuff, but I've been doing news and current affairs, and just showing people that my beard is getting longer by the day. But like, it's just
I can't grow one, mate. I can grow half a
it's
ginger.
good to see you back, like, but at least it's for good reasons that you were off. The old study comes first for that period of time, like, it's tough period. So
ideally one day, but Rome wasn't built in a day. As I said, I'd love YouTube to be me full-time job and do 5 episodes a bloody day. I was in the World Cup. I was doing like 4 bloody videos a day. Sadly, I wasn't getting paid by ITV or Sky Sports. Probably done a better job than them. But I hope you're well, mate. And Connor, mad day. I was in college, uni today, and I couldn't take my phone, my eyes off the phone. Really, in all honesty, it could be a big. It is history if potentially Manchester City are getting done for 100 odd sanctions, mate. History making for the wrong reasons.
Unfortunately, yeah. It's going to be the most craziest story ever in English football. When it's at its end, we're currently at the beginning, and we have a very, very long road ahead that could take multiple years. And I know we're going to talk about it tonight as well. But going a bit further back, when Spider said that he's done more content than you, I thought I was unemployed for a certain amount of time, because Jack usually, as people know, and the running joke is the contract's still not done. So again, I thought I was unemployed, chat, for a big period of time.
I wish I could employ you, lads. I'll pay you and walk crisps if you want, lad. I can do that. I can bribe you with some scran if you want, but Spider and chat.
I'll set up a GoFundMe for Connor.
Yeah.
but no, on a more serious point, though, this is one of the hugest and most craziest stories going. And I think all of us today, and it's not only Liverpool fans, it's every single fan in the Premier League, and all the fans around the world, it's just looking at this story and going, this is huge. In the world's biggest league, this has been able to happen. And again, we're just talking off the the little details we've been given. We haven't been given full details yet on completely everything. So it's going to be a fun couple of months, but again, a damaging one as well for both City and the league itself as well.
It's nuts.
Yeah,
it's absolutely but let's call it out in one way. Every person on the planet knew that this was happening.
Yeah,
but nobody was like pointing the finger at City, and we thought they got away with it with the UEFA ban and the Court of Arbitration for Sport, But the Premier League have come out apparently and said is according to Martin Ziegler that the Premier League's after coming up and saying that oh, you've got it, okay. That according to him, and he knows his stuff. That if they try to appeal, it won't be allowed, and it won't be hindered to by the Premier League. They will just what's this? So that way, 2011, 12.
Charged by the Premier League, and they're unless you're a legal lawyer, chat, that just looks like obviously important dates and important information. But as a football fan, unless you've got a background in law or like legal terms and everything, you probably understand that more in depth. But I think this range of sanctions possible include points deduction if breaches are proven. And obviously potential City hit with more than 100 charges of breaching rules by the Premier League. Possible sanctions, if found proven, include points deductions for even expulsion from the league, expulsion from the league as well. And I did have a little tweet as well. It's probably I bet you one more tonight. It's probably developed even more, probably changed a bit more anyway.
That could potentially mean that. Besides, let's say they get a massive title, like a minimum of 10 points.
There we go.
16 points.
Sorry there, mate. That was the one that.
Okay.
And this is it's going to be interesting if you do get found. I think this one, the one that you're relating to, mate, was it? Man City under Premier League rules, the club will not be able to appeal any sanction to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, which was overturned, as you were alluding to there, mate. Carry on. Sorry, I was just trying to find
No. Like, if it's a funny thing, like you were saying that, like the worst case scenario is that they're expelled out of the league, which would be, the most ludicrous thing you'd ever heard. They'd probably just start back up another country and staff from our team and start from the bottom up with still the funding. But could the Premier League and FIFA step in? Could they remove the owners as owners? Things like this can happen because of all this kind of stuff. But in the other case scenario, you're going to have titles being handed back to other teams that they took on and won in these seasons as well, because if that's the case that happens, they're going to get deductions per season, anti from 10 to 16 points. If that's the case, United can see themselves getting a couple of titles. We could probably get about 4 titles
Yeah, I got this. This is to that point as well. This is another.
You've done your
Football
homework,
Daily.
Jack.
No, Football Daily. So shout out to them. Obviously, they're making this from
Okay.
Sky. Obviously, you've seen this on Twitter. Another parallel universe of Premier League is obviously 2011-12 Fergie, obviously the last league title. And then Brendan Rodgers, good old David Bent. The 2013-14 season, potentially, it could have been what could have been a parallel universe, as we know. You're a fan of Marvel, all that stuff. So the 13, it could have been Rodgers that brought another planet, another universe. Would have been Rodgers if it wasn't for City potentially breaking the rules. Rodgers could have brought the Premier League back to Anfield after all those years. And then obviously Jose Mourinho, as we all remember, his massive rant that he did go on as manager of Manchester United, just talking historically, Con, about football heritage. We all remember that one. Obviously Liverpool, the league we did win, obviously during the pandemic in 1890, and obviously Ollie finishing second. It was still quite remarkable how well he had his Manchester City side playing in that given season as well. That was the season was that the season where Liverpool basically had no centre halves?
We were 14 points behind United. We came back to 4, and there's 16 points and came back to 4.
Yeah,
so that'll tell you
they gave up on the league, didn't they, to try and stop us getting Champions League football, and it failed. And then I think on a massive bad run.
But it all depends. You said that there could be champions or whatever. That I don't think it'll go back as far as 11 and 12 because I don't think no matter how
it just
early
opens
it starts,
up a whole kind of worms.
It might go from 14 or 15 onwards. They might look at because they go by established 2-year tax years, and City been in there, didn't win any leagues in 08 to 010, and then there's one in between that. So they might look at that from like 2014 onwards, 2015 onwards. But still saying that would they go with just stripping them of the title, or would they go with points deduction? And if it goes by points deduction, then you're looking at United getting 1 Premier League.
No, I think it's more than that, mate. It's 3.
No, it'll be 3 if they go with 11 and 12, and it'll be 3 if they go with just stripping City of the title and not going by points deduction. But if they go by points deduction, and it is the normal 10 to 16 points, then United could still potentially lose out on having the league in that season because they were like 18 points behind City by the end of the season. When the City won the league, and that season they tried to stop us from getting Champions League football. That's what we're talking about. So if that happens, they could still end up losing the league, that one. So could it just potentially be 1 for United?
It's not even it's not even titles though, is it? When you think about it, like we're saying off camera, it's not like look at the time that City didn't win the league. You're then talking about European football. You're talking about money to get into Europe.
Yeah,
in certain aspects of certain things as well. So it's everyone that's been around or close to City in any capacity over the last 10 years have had a massive effect on their finance, on winning stuff and so on as well. And obviously some people have moaned the fact that why is it taking 4 years? It's taken 4 years to find out what's happened between 2009 and 2018. There's still an open investigation between 2018 and now that no one's remembering either. So they're still trying to put the pieces from 2018 to right now. So again, there's still more to come about this. And if the first part's bad, imagine what the second part's going to bring. When you're talking about, look at the Erling Haaland transfer. We're talking about, him being, brilliant release clause, blah, blah, blah. If you believe the reports, some people even saying that he's earning, 1.1 million a week in terms of finance and that. Like, that's ridiculous. And we've seen how much trouble a team like Barcelona have got in.
Not sustainable.
Yeah, it's not.
How are they going to do that? Like, how have they done that in the books and gotten away with it so far? If it's 1.1 million a week, including bonuses and stuff,
and the thing is,
how does that balance out?
And I don't know if anyone's seen it. Obviously, the people were talking about the Mancini payments. Well, rumored 1.52 million pounds or whatever to play in Dubai. We all remember, it was a couple of weeks ago, chat. Obviously, he got caught out using a stocked image of a woman actress on the internet and used that for a public profile of one of their executives or someone that works for their, was it a bank or a betting company, Connor?
It's a new sponsorship, was
yeah,
it?
a new sponsorship that was taken from a Google generated stock photo, and claimed that it was a case of a business that Manchester City are dealing with. And you only have to look at the fact that the interaction, especially on social media as well, when you look at, obviously, hence why Elon Musk took over Twitter, the amount of sheer bots on Twitter is quite remarkable in reality. You look at the amount of the people that actually do follow Manchester City social media accounts, it's all generated bots paid by, i.e. by Manchester City as well. But I feel for the true Manchester City fans out there. There's a lot of very genuine, amazing Manchester City fans out there as well. Obviously, main roads, when you were in League One or League Two or whatever, when we had like 33,000 people in that stadium, they're the proper true supporters. And obviously the people that were supporting City around in that period around the world as well. And just as a football fan as well, anyway, it's not just City, but the people in charge of these football clubs. And we've already said countless times, and we'll get through all your comments as well, Chas, so keep on getting them in. Let me know your thoughts to me and Spider, and obviously, and Connor as well. What do you feel will be the appropriate action? But in terms of the football fans, yet again, you're getting these multi-billionaires, millionaires coming into the Premier League. The bigger the Premier League gets, the more eyes and the more multi-billionaires that will be coming in, buying these football clubs. Look at what happened with Berry, a massive mismanagement of the highest proportions. That football club was around since 1892, I think, or probably before that. Then that was very much eradicated off the face of bloody planet Earth because the mismanagement. You look at Bolton, mismanagement there. Derby County, mismanagement from the board level. Yet again, it's the fans that suffer. And continuously in the next 10, 20, 30 years in football, it will continuously be the fans that are bearing the brunt of all these. City fans bearing the brunt of the mismanagement at the top of the football club. City fans, like every football fan, we just cared about our club going out there. Great if we win trophies. Obviously, we're there to win trophies, of course, as a football fan. But obviously, if you're not in the Premier League, you're not vying for the. But it's about what it means, these football clubs, to everyone in the UK and obviously around world football. It's basically an institution. It's like a religion for every football fan around the world. We support these through thick and thin, and even with the big difficult moments that we are suffering at the minute. And surprise, Liverpool have dropped points, and it's the end of the world. Of course, it is. But yeah, lads, I'll let you just jump over. I'm going to connect me Wi-Fi. Sorry, Damon. Okay. I'm just going to quickly read through all these comments, mate, and then I'll let you see.
Yeah, I'll work with it.
Yeah, big up Eamons. Points deduction and a fine will be the probable outcome. I'd agree with you there, Eamons. Nothing will happen to them. Money talks. Sadly, Alan, you only have to look at the bloody European lawyers that they all sent about 200 odd bloody lawyers just for a single case. They got off on a technicality last time. They did, Hannah, but a lot of that was centered around the time constraints as well, in terms of legally and the legal findings. If you go out there, good, interesting sites like the supposed, I think we all remember Edward Snowden in terms of the information he leaked on the government all those years ago. You have to look at the breach of emails that was released, and it's still on there, still on the internet. If you go out there tonight and have a little look in terms of the football and finances of Manchester City, if you look, and that's where City probably will defend themselves in terms of this new case with the Premier League is, those emails were obtained by a hacker, which they were anyway, and I'm no legal expert, but that probably wouldn't stand up in court. It might not, but that's probably what City's defence potentially might be as well. You can't be using information that was gotten by certain means anyway. I asked a lawyer friend and she said they are serious charges. Big up there, Liz. As I said, it's always great. Has anyone's got any, obviously there's a lot more people watching. If you've got any more better insight than us three and everyone in the comments, let us all know. But interesting, Liz, this will be at Chelsea in 2 years. Yeah, and I was speaking to Connor before we come on air as well. Where do you draw the line with Man? Is it Man City? But this thing's been going on. The Premier League and the FA have turned a blind eye in it for years. In case of obviously Roman Abramovich, the amount of money he spent in that era very much blew open the whole transfer fees around Europe, and hence why you're seeing average footballers going for 20 million. We all know those players anyway.
When did financial fair play come in?
Oh, it's been a myth for...
Was it 2009, supposedly?
Okay.
Yeah, but FIFA is so corrupt. Yeah, all your industry organisations, Mark, FIFA, FA, every organisation where large money is exchanged, then of course there's going to be a lot of
if this outcome of this comes out with City getting done for even the recent years, that UEFA already penalised them over, but then the Court of Arbitration turned it over. Is somebody going to start looking at the Court of Arbitration to say, why would they turn that over? But when the findings were already found to be guilty and then found to be guilty again.
UEFA can't do anything now, can they? Because it's a time lapse. Like where the Premier League has like done it way back from 2009. UEFA, I think it's only a 2-year. I think so practically from now back to.
But is somebody going to look at the Court of Arbitration for corruption?
I was going to say legally, lads. Do you reckon, or chat if anyone knows, could they reopen a case to say? Probably. If they go back and
if there's findings, I think
if they submit more evidence,
fresh findings, findings.
Yeah, it's just exactly as that. It's just if they find new material, then they can go back to it. But if there's nothing there, then they might just go, well, this has already been tried, and we can't get anything from it.
Yeah, so we'll get through all these comments as well, chat. I'll be jumping off in a little second. So we'll be back on. Obviously, let the lads take over anyway, read all your comments. But big up, Gaddy. Good to see you, mate. Hope you had a good week. Apart from the 40 mates, as we all know. Taliola, if they're found guilty, dock them 100 points and relegate them. Yeah, I know we'll laugh, but it's sad for the sound, proper, legit Manchester City fans. They're just supporting the team. It's the Muppets above them and people in charge of all these football clubs, and include Liverpool as well. We don't truly know who's in control of all of our football clubs. Anyone can basically,
You could even blame our season of our fatigue right now on City's corruption, because if they're after pushing us that far, season after bloody season, by 1 point off, and we worked all that bloody hard for no reason when they just bought the league anyway, then
that's sarcasm. Social media. If you're not getting that, that's social media. Yeah, that's sarcasm.
Clip it.
Yeah, Rodgers might actually win the league on a technicality. Oh Christ, Ali Sissoko, chat. And Steven Gerrard, the Chelsea fans would be absolutely disappointed, won't they?
Here go Aspas about to come back and get his medal.
Yeah. If Steven Gerrard gets a medal, there better be a bus going around Liverpool. I'm telling you now.
Just a bus dedicated for Steven Gerrard.
Just Steven Gerrard going on with trophies in his hand.
But he goes around Manchester and like London with a trophy. And put his Champions League trophy on there as well.
You know what's going to happen. If you got to that scenario, you know what's going to happen. They're going to say, it's only one of them technicality. No, we played the league. We should have won it. They cheated.
Yeah. The way I looked at it as well, seeing it today, chat, as I said, it's like when you see in athletics, you see the doping that has gone on for large sections. If you're not a fan of athletics, there's been obviously the Russians and obviously a lot of other countries that were doping at that time as well, in time of the Olympics and obviously the World Championships. The way they do it, whoever finishes second and you've been beaten by an athlete that has taken steroids or whatnot, the silver medalist becomes the gold medalist, and then vice versa, third to second. And obviously whoever finished fourth went to third. That's ideally what we'd all like, but sadly, as we all know, that probably won't happen. It'll be a case of if the findings do come to light, they'll strip them of the title. Doubt that Liverpool or anyone for that matter in that period will get the trophies. And even if they do get it and they are found to be guilty, those trophies and titles and everything will be very much stained for their history. All this period will be very much stained as well. But it's interesting. So can we get 3 titles? Will be better than the best season? What do you mean? What is it, chat? We finished 10th, but we win 3 league titles.
Well, no, it's Seamus, it all depends, you see, because if they're going to go by
Yeah.
the most amount of money spent, you're looking at like you're probably going to see them get done from mostly the later years rather than the early years. You'll probably see small little inklings, but it won't be enough.
Big up Taylor, big up
Exactly.
Messi, big up Taylor. They were to generally do they can only spend what they generate. Unfortunately, City stadiums will be half empty.
Yeah.
Aye. Well, they inflate those numbers anyway.
That's only for 1.1 million a week for Hallinger.
I don't know if anyone's an avid watcher of the Bundesliga, but just have a little look at the documentaries. They're all on YouTube anyway. There's a couple of great Bundesliga documentaries about obviously when RB taken over, RB Leipzig got taken over, and they're basically the Manchester City of the Bundesliga, and how disliked from every tier of Bundesliga, every German fan, whether you're in Bundesliga 1, Bundesliga 2 or 3, everyone just hates him because and similar Wolfsburg. I'm not 100% on terms of who owns them, but I think even that period when they got taken over, and there was a bit of commotion in terms of the finances, how they were done anyway. Hence why they were signing Kevin De Bruyne back in the day and all that. Prior to his move back to the Premier League.
This is it. This is the comment
but yeah, if nothing sticks this time, forget about FFP, and the Premier League will have lost all credibility. 100% there, Eamons, 100%. Mate, they give out a few backhanders, and it all is forgiven, sadly. It's the world we live in, Shay. But I'm hoping, Shay, not just Liverpool fans, but the whole of world football, well, you know that you have to see comments from the La Liga Santander, the La Liga presidents and all that. For the last couple of weeks, have been slagging off the Premier League for the amount of sheer spending, and I'm pretty sure the hierarchy of the La Liga, the Bundesliga, Serie A, all of them will be looking and going, we want them done, or we want the Premier League to be investigated by the likes of FIFA and UEFA. So it won't be a case of just the Premier League teams or English teams. It'll be the whole of Europe going after Manchester City if the charges are proven to be quite accurate. So crazy as being noticed earlier. Should we? I'm not going to get comments on obviously John Flanagan anyway.
Yeah.
Off the field is quite disgusting in reality. But yeah, for the. It's going to be interesting to see whatever happens in that relation, mates. What happens to Dubai gets from all this, the charge, and they must know, it's the thing. 4 years of findings, calling Suarez on Brazil, whereas all is forgiven. I'll quickly rattle through all these anyway, and then let the two gents take over anyway whilst I'm gone for a little bit. It'll probably be noticed if they just brushed under the carpet. Good evening, Russ. Go ahead, Russ. I'd say go ahead, lad, but saying that Tottenham done you a favour this weekend, didn't he, mate?
Your connection's perfectly clean there now, Jack.
Is it sound now, mate?
It's full and clear, it's full 720. Yeah, you're good.
It's a club covered up. If they stripped titles, were a pretty empty gesture, really. Just avoid those seasons if anything of the nature should happen. Yeah, that's what I think. Would you say, lads, all three of us would agree that's what they're going to do, just to avoid the seasons? I'm not sitting here. I'd love it to give Liverpool, and sadly it will be United getting some titles as well, but it's not going to happen for me personally.
We'll be in the same boat, the same distance away from each other in titles if they give all the ones to each of us.
Yeah. Connor, as Mark said, could you see more clubs investigated? And that just alludes to what we've said before. It just opens up a whole can of worms in relation to the Abramovich era.
Yeah, Chelsea's getting investigated, definitely.
Like Chelsea's current era. Obviously, their lawyers or Todd Bowley's lawyers are probably... Todd Bowley's more asked about playing, or is it Club Candy or farming simulator on his phone or whatever he was doing on his phone this weekend when he sat there on his phone when your team is playing. He's frankly not asked by the looks of it in reality about Chelsea Football Club.
I think it'll be more. I think, of course, there'll be more Premier League clubs being investigated. I think like Chelsea's, certainly other teams as well. But I do think outside of the Premier League as well, I think maybe you start looking at Juve at the minute with their problems, PSG, Barca, I think once one, mega giant falls, I think then you'll start to see, a couple of more doors open. But again, it's like you said, it's like, where do you go with this if you're the Premier League? Do you make an example of Manchester City, or do you just give them a slap on the wrist and just tell everyone, don't do that again, because we'll do this and that? For me, yeah, you have to. If it was a couple of years, if it was like, between 2 years, 3 years, I'd say, okay, fair enough. But this is over a decade, probably longer than that. Problem.
It was a 15 years, chat, was it?
Yeah,
like 15 years, supposedly.
like something like that, like a 15-year period where they've cheated, and you can't let that, well, allegedly cheated, I should say. You can't let that, be a slap on the wrists. You have to. That has to be pointed as an example to the rest, like we mentioned, Chelsea and more teams as well. It needs to be made of an example of, and if they don't do it, then as people have said, what is the point of FFP? What's the point of not going out and spending 500-600 million in 6 months? This
is where I think.
Sorry there, boys. Sorry, boys. I'll just leave that there. Shout out to Alex on Twitter. City were asking to be investigated the moment they claimed they earned more revenue than Manchester United and Hala Madrid. Real Madrid.
It's impossible.
But that's exactly what I was about to say. Kind of that way is, if you're going to go by the years of their investment, and how much money came into the club and went out, they weren't spending as much in those early years. Even though they might have overspent and not covered the books, but in comparison to then and now, you're going to see huge difference. This is why I'm thinking that it's less likely that the earlier titles for us in United might get given to us, but if it goes that route, but then it's more likely for the later ones to be given because of the the intake of money in a stadium that's never full compared to the outgoings that were being spent and the wages on top of it. And these extra sponsorship deals that weren't actually there. So in the early days, they were just kind of spending the money that they brought in and just kind of overspending it and covering it with whatever was coming in. And they could get away with those early years, but I don't think they'll get away with anything post 2014, 2015. It's just too much.
We're saying about transfers as well. Me and you, Joe, speaking about this. Joel Cancelo's just left Manchester City. Me and you were talking.
Do you reckon he's the whistleblower?
Well, not so much that, but it's the fact that, remember me and you were going on about like, oh, it's weird how he's being thrown around all the top clubs in Europe.
Oh, he's been allowed to go, hasn't he?
Yeah, and it's like, I think at the time, didn't they spend 30 million on him and throw in Danilo at the time? When he was getting his market value was like 60-70 million quid at the time. Like it brings.
Well, I'm pretty sure the Arthur Melo deal from years ago to Barca and the whole triangle of transfers that went around was a Pjanic, where a couple of years ago went to a certain club or whatnot, whatever happened with that Juve and that. Supposedly that's been meant to have been getting investigated from, I don't know who's investigating it, but it's meant to be getting that as well.
But it just brings a question into not only, we talk about Mancini and what happened with that contract. It brings up just all of it: player contracts, transfers in and out of the club. It brings not only that, it's like the sister clubs as well to Manchester City. When you've got, is it New York and those,
Australia,
like all of them get thrown into question as well of into that aspect. So it's a whole it's a domino effect of what happens next with the transfers and the manager situation. But again, it's that sense of we're not going to hear the full story until probably like 3 or 4 years time, where we'll probably end up forgetting about it.
4 or 5, and that's from a legal point of view. That's what City are hoping people forget. But as we've seen with the European Super League, was it last year or 2 years ago? Football stood together, and we're like, even with our football club, we were quite vocal, us three, and a lot of people were crying. So we didn't want to be in the Super League. It was these muppets above us, people controlling these clubs that were. We didn't want to close shop, but that's what I think, as you alluded to there, Con, and it's by they're wanting this to go away as quickly as possible, and as Chacho alluded to, they throw as many lawyers, as many money as possible. But even if it is the case, there'll always be this cloud hanging over them. Well, it has been for the last that's why people look at City, and it's sad for the true City fans as well out there that they only look to City over the last 3-5 year period to say, yeah, just stop Liverpool winning the league. When I'm asked, that, frankly, fans, Arsenal fans, City fans, well, United fans, Arsenal fans, Newcastle fans, as long as it stops Liverpool winning the league, and of course, because Liverpool have been successful in our 130 odd year history, we've got quite a lot of nemesis in reality, teams that we just, but that's what happens when you're successful. You get large portions of it. But there's a big old happy birthday as well, Liz. I'll quickly rattle through these comments as well. Happy birthday, Liz, from us three, and obviously it's a chat.
Happy birthday.
Well, professional. Spidey, you're a professional singer. I was going to say, but yeah, big up Liz as well. Big up the 1892 Reds TV as well. Luke and Ricky will be doing a show tomorrow. I think it is, lads. Obviously the Everton build-up show that'll be coming out very soon as well. That'll probably be a tomorrow's episode, chat. That'll be tomorrow. Wonder how many. Yeah, but yeah, it's not red. It's red. Big up, mates, as well. I hope you're well. It's the whole of Europe, all of everywhere in Europe. You can probably do an investigation into Real Madrid.
I can't wait to watch it all on Amazon Prime in 10 episodes.
Oh yeah, was it Netflix are rubbing their hands here like today, going, let's get some camera crews, and scenes when Netflix have actually been doing an investigation of their own, like behind closed doors, like the last 4 or 5 years. You never know. Sending undercover reporters working for Man City. Wait, what?
Taking the Amazon contract, you are, yeah. We'll show you what we can do on Netflix.
It'd be better than Drive to Survive. It'd be City. We need to survive. Or something like that.
What is it? We're going to end up doing a Channel 4 thing of if you can't pay, we'll take it away. Just
well, we're going to film Brendan Rodgers coming around to Pep Guardiola, giving him in those 3 envelopes that he handed out. He's going to give one to Pep. He's going to give one to Haaland. He's going to give one to, obviously, Kevin De Bruyne as well. All right, boys. It was your names with P45s in the letters as well, boys, if he's want. Oh, a wee Brendan. Could have won the league. Well, should have. Actually, he did, but he was cheated out of it. What a parallel universe that would have been. To rattle through all these comments, because everyone's been smashing it in the comments tonight, so I really do appreciate it. And as I said, apologies, I've been away, obviously. You might as, they haven't done a post-match, but you might as well have watched the post-match that we've done the last 3 previous results, because I would have literally come on and not rehearsed, because I don't bloody script my shows, as you can tell. And yeah, it would have been exactly the same nonsense that we've all witnessed over the last couple of weeks as well. But big up Doug as well. Just everyone, PSG need to be investigated too.
Oh yeah,
I'm pretty Hannah, 100%. But if the French football is so corrupt in itself, you only have to look at the last 50, 60 years, the amount of investigations that have gone under the radar in terms of the corruption with the referees and everything. Every top club, and the fact that Juventus was, we remember, there's some great documentaries on the Juventus one. Juventus is even not well advanced in terms of Italian football. You were literally offering referees bribes of money in hotel rooms 24 hours before the games. Juventus, and they were giving them cash incentives as well. And legally, I don't even know if it is this legally. Real Madrid, and I think I remember watching a documentary. Real Madrid give incentives to teams. Legally, you can do it. Do like cash sums or cash incentives to, like, say, if Rayo Vallecano were playing Barcelona last day of the season and Real needed Vallecano to win, you can give money. Well, if they win, to Vallecano if they win. It's mad. But I remember reading something like that, but it's madness. Well, it's all corrupt, all of it. Well, all major clubs will be checked, and hence, we'll do another show. Hence, is that why Liverpool aren't spending money? Is that why FSG aren't selling the club? Because those this is going to trigger a lot of the FSG outers and inners in the middlers.
I was thinking the same thing you had.
Is FSG... Would have FSG's model worked if FFP's regulation stood, Spider?
would FSG's model work
Had it worked
if
if FFP actually stood a chance and
Oh,
actually
yeah.
done his job?
Oh yeah, I mean, if you're stopping teams from corrupt teams from overspending illegally, then the FSG had the spot on model for that. So maybe they were playing the moral game, but also trying to line the pockets at the same time. But at the end of the day, I've never said anything bad against FSG's model, because I've always appreciated
We
it
all
like
want them
this.
to spend on bloody
Yeah.
midfielders, don't we? And the
That's
squad. That's what we want.
the big thing that's happening with FSG at the moment is that they haven't invested this season. In the season that we need, and they didn't invest in the after the Champions League and League season either. So in the last 3 years, I think they were looking for an out or some sort of big investment to come in, or somebody to buy them in, and they still want to be a part of Liverpool is the main thing. I think that's what's holding it up. They want to hold some sort of majority share somewhere, and
Well,
and yeah.
FSG know a lot more than us do, boys. Imagine if they've actually pulled the handbrake and went, "Oh my God, you've done a 360 reverse and back into the bay." Like they go in Premier League are actually getting, you're gonna basically get your titles back, or the FFP regulations, because you've built the football club, haven't you, Spider, into good revenue as a football club.
Yeah,
done really well. If you look into the finances, they brought all the revenues up. The only problem is all of us, every Liverpool fan, wants us to spend it, not 300 million every window. What we want is significant reinvestment in the squad, and it is there. It's just a matter of we aren't at the minute.
Yeah, just like as they say, sales bring in thing, and if we're a sell to buy club in that regards, I mean, I have to turn around and praise them in some aspects where I know the money came from kind of a Coutinho sale, but they overspent on that as well. You know, we got in Alisson, Fabinho, Van Dijk, you know, Naby Keita in that window in that time as well in this period. We had we pretty much built the whole spine going through, and then you know, obviously they were after doing Salah and Mane before that. But I mean, that was in the mindset that Bobby and Coutinho were going to play behind those two as well. So yeah, it's weird, you know. It's really weird. For me, I was happy with FSG's time at the club, but if their heart is not in anymore, and they're just kind of thinking of it with just a business brain, and letting the lads down on the pitch, then that's when I kind of turned.
It's an interesting. It's an interesting comment. It's probably triggered a lot of people, so apologies. But
we can't go at them. They turned the club around. They helped us significantly. They've made a couple of mistakes along the way, but at least compared to most owners out there, I'd have to give them that. No matter what way you think of them, they publicly came out and did it. No, F them for that furlough stuff. They can. F them for that. But for the other stuff that regards football, they came out. But that's the only clips I give them.
I'll probably title my video that, and it'll probably get bare clicks and bare people fuming, but love it. Because it is going to be an interesting talking point. Connor, would you quickly touch on that maybe before we get through all these comments?
Would it be successful? Yeah, of course it would. Like that's the whole point of it, really. And I think that.
But I know they've absolutely done themselves in the way they've managed the club currently, as Spider alluded to. But
let's be honest as well. FSG, they are always trying to make their portfolio 10 times better than what it is. At the moment, Liverpool is the most, it's probably the most profitable it's ever been in terms of revenue, in terms of, kit sales, in terms of, everything. And we're speaking about, Liverpool have been at the pinnacle for 4 or 5 years of football on the pitch. It's just now FSG can't take us that extra step where we need to maintain being at the high level that we've expected over the last 4 or 5 years. They can't do that anymore. They can take us up, again to a certain amount, but they can't keep us there under the current model. So but again, the model would work perfectly if the regulations
actually doing the job.
If they actually did its job and it actually works, but sadly, it doesn't work. It hasn't worked for a very long time.
Yeah, it's a two-ended question, and lads as well in chat. It's time will tell. As we said, if FFP actually done its job, then Liverpool will be sat here with Jurgen Klopp having 4 league titles or whatever it is. Rodgers would technically have a league title. Slippy G wouldn't even be a thing. And those memes would be all over. They'd be eradicated. But hopefully, you never know. Long term, it could be flipped. And as chat alluded to, ass passes, was it Michael could be a league winner? Yeah. It could be true, Doug. 4 years of investigations, probably another 2 years in legalization. Litigation as well. Quickly back through all your comments as well, because it's quite a lot, as always. So really do appreciate it. I know we haven't done a video for the week, but really do appreciate you all, and hopefully you've all had a fantastic week. Apart from the football, you're all keeping safe and well, everyone. And as I said, it's been a very big game, big day, and obviously we'll be live tomorrow as well. I'm looking forward to it. Connor, you're going to be live tonight, aren't you, at 9? Is it?
No.
Oh, I thought you were live.
No, okay. I'm not live tonight.
Well, when are you next live?
I'm live tomorrow.
Oh, you're live tomorrow. Yeah, obviously I'll get you to shout out again anyway, but rattle through all these comments because they're absolute legends. Chelsea won't be the next because they've already had 2-year transfer ban on transfers, plus they found a loophole. Yeah, that loophole, which I think has been changed, but typical UEFA. Yeah, Chelsea taking a huge risk, but it is technically legal. Yeah, Manchisi, Egyptian King, big up race, good one, not that. Happy birthday, obviously, just everyone's saying 100%. We need to up our game. Wesley, 100%, mate. Hope you're well. And obviously, if anyone's watching on Facebook, hello. Drop us a follow and all that, because we're on close to 8,000 followers on Facebook, which is amazing. So really do appreciate all the support, everyone, on that. Hope you all had a great birthday, Liz. Just everyone's saying happy birthday to Liz. Peffin having to hand over the titles to United and Liverpool. Yeah, both clubs would potentially further improve their cabinet anyway. So far, so good. Happy birthday, Liz. How are you, Connor? It's not too bad. Well, Connor, I'll let you speak. You good?
I'm not too bad. I'm enjoying City's meltdown on Twitter because they're like, where does it?
Yeah. I bet he does going to be. Spad, you love your sketches, I think.
Yeah.
I can just already think about the classic Monty Python. I bet there's so many little videos people will be editing into Monty Python sketches.
Yeah, we got a couple of things. Even because Kev was just kind of in the same boat as you for the kitman stuff. So he's in college all the time doing this big engineering thing. So that's why we haven't been able to get the kitman thing going fully that way. But that's going to be just like twice a week sketch shows, just sitting up, meeting up with each other, and just kind of doing that behind the news things. And I know we'll get Jack in as a weatherman.
Yeah, we'll get him. Yeah. Probably do a better job on that than presenting the weather. It's absolutely pissing down in Liverpool.
So yeah, that'll be fun. But yeah, we got a lot of stuff to write. This is just going to be a field day of writing this stuff. Yeah,
spot on. But Scouser, as I said, apologies. I've been checked before. It was a week since the last of my episodes. Hopefully you're well, mate, and thank you very much for every single one of you that's tuned in. We'll quickly do it, and obviously, Scouts, you can replay it, everyone. If you are tuning in, we did have a little gab with everyone in the comments as well. Keep on getting your comments in. We're just going to quickly recap on terms, obviously, some of the stories. Potentially, and this is obviously coming from, obviously, Football Daily, having a little look at another parallel universe if City did get their title stripped, which we all know won't happen. But if that was the case, you could have had Jurgen Klopp winning 2 more other league titles, and obviously Brendan Rodgers being the manager that brought Liverpool the title. It'd be basically Luis Suarez, wouldn't it, boys? Luis Suarez doing Captain Marvel stuff, Captain America, Captain Uruguay stuff that season. Magical. What a magical season. It was always a joy, lads, on it, on seeing Suarez for the stuff he done on the pitch in terms of scoring goals. Obviously, the horrible stuff that, what he was doing off the pitch wasn't good. But in terms of his football principles, he was a magical footballer.
Yeah,
absolutely. I think
this lad too.
Probably,
that season, his best season for us, I think, by far.
Oh yeah, he got sent off, didn't he, miss?
That's everybody goes on about right? Yeah, but that's what caused us to lose the next, or mess up in the next 3 games. That last minute set. Yeah,
he was so good. For me, I think it's probably his second best season. I think when we won the title,
Oh, true,
properly
yeah.
well.
Yeah.
I think that was his best ever. But Suarez, for me, I think Suarez, if we're talking about individual seasons, I think Suarez had the best season. This might be controversial. It's had the best season out of any player in the Premier League, like through a season. I think Suarez
For
had
the
the
type of
best
goals he
season.
scored, for
Yeah.
The fact that he
for the League
carried
Cup.
that back line, Christ. Like
Well, the
that
fact
Liverpool back line, Traore, Ali Sissoko, Flanagan. Like,
But the fact he missed 10 games and scored
Yeah.
32 goals, like
Yeah,
that's
it's nuts.
outrageous. And not even, look, he wasn't even a central striker. He was, sometimes he's a striker, sometimes at left wing. Like it was mental from Luis Suarez.
We wouldn't have been talking about losing the league by 2 points. We would have been talking about winning the league by about 9 or 10 points.
the game
If
that
he
always
was playing that 10 games.
The game that always sticks out to me was BT around then, or was it Stanford or
The
whatever?
Arsenal games, maybe.
It was the Arsenal game where literally we all sat down and was watching that game, and we absolutely wiped the floor with Arsenal.
20 minutes, yeah.
Was it 20 minutes of absolute pure magic?
Yeah.
Was that the game where even
Sturridge got on the thing.
Sterling
got on it. Yeah.
The thing is, there were so many.
That was a Sterling hand and face. One of his first moments, wasn't it?
There were so many good games that you had, like Everton at home, you had Stoke away, Everton, not Everton away. We had Everton away with the draw. Even Spurs away as well. That was.
When Flano got a bit too excited.
That
game. That one.
Even Man United home and away.
That reminds me of how good Hendo was in that game alone. With the back heels he was performing, like the link up play between him, Suarez, Sturridge, and Sterling was just fantastic. And Coutinho kind of just like he came in with he kind of
prime Danny Sturridge as well.
Oh yeah,
prime Danny
Coutinho was getting dead young as well. That year.
SAS, so good.
Aye. Those are the times, my friends. And these are the Premier Leagues that we were looking. Probably Charles should have brought these up before. These are the potential, as we said, we're not going to get our titles back, but these are the potential leagues that Liverpool sadly missed out on, as we all remember, sadly. But obviously, 2013-14, as the lads were alluding to, that season, the 18-19 season, obviously, we would have done a treble last season. Obviously, win the Premier League. The Premier League, obviously, Champions League. No, not Champions League. Premier League, FA Cup, and League Cup, obviously. And obviously, we've done a double as well, Champions League and the Premier League, potentially, if City went around. I picked these quotes as well from Simon Hughes. Given the emotional attachment, financial commitments, and the amount of time fans from all over the world give towards following their clubs, I don't really see this morning's developments in relation to obviously Manchester City news as a moment to celebrate. Twitter needs everything broken down word by word to avoid confusion. So yes, I am pleased the wheels of justice are rolling, but I can't help but feel if it leans towards any sort of meaningful conclusion. The last 10 years have been largely a waste of everyone's time as well. And Kev, is that what you kind of feel as well? Like as Simon Hughes alludes to,
it's disappointing for the Premier League because even though City got taken over, all of these moments with the Balotelli to Aguero the last minute, that'll be ruined if that's part and parcel of that. You have the battle with Liverpool in that 13-14 season. You have the major battles at Liverpool in the last few seasons being laboured as just a fake battle, whereas it was just one team who, was just mechanical, and the other team was just like us, just did it the right way, and it's just going to look like a good versus bad story, really. With us being, the tortured souls and the whole lot of it, if you want to call it that way. So the guys that have been done wrong by, the guys that never got justice, in the realm of unsolved mysteries, that kind of where you just never got an outcome and
it's just going to be frustrating, isn't it, mate? It's going to
it is. But it's and our fans have a right to be angry if this happens, because at the end of the day, it comes down to the fans, whatever about the clubs and whatever about finance. If and their fans should be angry as well at that, But and if any of them backs the owners, and it comes out to be true, and if any of them backs the owners, then they should hang their heads in shame. To be honest with you,
I think And just alluding to the video, I don't know if you've seen it in chat. Obviously, I would show it tonight, but obviously copyright. There was an interview, as me and you were saying, Con. There was that interview that Guardiola done. I think it was a couple of years ago? It might have been a couple of years ago when he was asked, or a couple of months ago when he was asked about the UEFA investigations. And the reporters in that given press conference were saying, "Oh, have you ever been given bribes or to Guardiola?" And he reacted quite angrily. And basically come out and said, if that was the case, I'd be out the door practically. If stuff that City was saying to Guardiola was very false, he would basically, what he said, he would walk when he can.
I know, absolutely. Well, no, it's that though. It's what like Spider said. If you're a true City supporter and you're like obviously been there in
the main road days.
Yeah, like you think about it, all of the look at it for us, for example. This current Liverpool side has taken me through my lifetime. This has been the best time ever to be a Liverpool supporter, in my life. I think it's City fans, like this has been the best period ever in their lifetime. And the fact that, you've got like Premier League moments when they're like, oh, the Aguero goal and
that Aguero one.
Yeah, like it means nothing if they're proven guilty because they cheated, and that's a shame, and it shows again. The Premier League is tarnished in that way, and it has a real dark shadow over it, and it's the fact then that you've got. And look, other fans might not feel the way Liverpool fans do on this in particular, because again, when you look at it, Liverpool have been the only ones over the last couple of years to properly challenge Manchester City. It's the fact that we've missed out, like you showed just now. We've missed out on a double. We've missed out on a treble. It's history from our club that's been taken. Not only that, of course, like
it suits rival fans. Way of saying would it con? It'd be like if it's going to happen to one club, they'll go, at least it's happened to Liverpool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but it is. It's just a build on frustration. Now, if this happens I look at Arsenal this year. Say if City go on and beat Arsenal for the title and nothing's done about it, Arsenal draft out, City cheated and this, that, and the other. But when it comes to Pep Guardiola, if he's been given promises from the club that nothing dodgy's been happening, and then quite clearly there is, he'll walk without a shadow of a doubt. He'll go straight away.
His reputation would come under scrutiny as well. He was the man that spearheaded that City side when it was happening underneath him. In reality,
he needs to protect that legacy. He needs to protect his legacy of going from club to club and winning titles. And by walking away, if it comes out that way, just he has to be public about it as well. If he does, I just can't wholeheartedly remain in this position, knowing that was, I thought the funds were available on a legit basis.
I'm sorry, it's better. Who's the next game that City've got televised? Is it this weekend?
I'll have a little look.
I'll see it down now.
But if Sky don't ask any questions about it, then what's wrong with them? Like they ask, reporters ask stupid questions week in, week out.
You put their reputation on. They're liable, mate. They are the English football broadcaster for all of us.
The Super Sunday next week, Aston Villa.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So you're spot on there, Con. Similar to what we've seen with Jurgen Klopp, mate. Him getting frustrated at questions. Quite frankly, the journalists are there to do the job. They're not there to be your best mate. Similar with Jurgen Klopp, they're there to ask the difficult questions. And fair enough, when you look at Thomas Tuchel as well, with the ownership struggles behind closed doors, I think Tuchel handled himself very well and he ticked a lot of boxes with me in terms of really did rate him about that because it was difficult questions and Guardiola's paid enough for me to very much answer those questions. But you're already seeing how irate he's been getting on the touchline already. Potentially,
he's looked frustrated.
Yeah, he looks like he's rumblings behind closed doors. Everyone's been asking questions about Liverpool football club this season. There's something drastically happened. I know Gary Neville spoke about it last night, but something's been happening.
If I could say one thing, lads, and it's not got to do with City or whatever like that. If this comes out to be true, and with the season that Liverpool are having this season, right, as poor as we've been and tired and fatigued and all that we've been, you'd have to pretty much like whoever's shouting at them online and whoever's doing this online, your team has just been underfunded on broken promises, not being supported enough by its owners, has a world-class manager, and has just gone toe to toe with the most corrupt winning team
organization
in history, winning league after league only by a point, whilst cheating, whilst spending all that money and all of that. And this is where you should turn around and think to yourself, I'm not going to go on Twitter today and slag these lads, because look what they just did in the last few seasons. Even though we lost the titles, look what they just did against that sort of corruption. And every other team in the league should be patting Liverpool on the back. Now, what about the fans? Just pat the club on the back, because they're the only ones that stop City from walking this league. And City cheating are the only team to stop Liverpool from actually walking this league legitimately. So, we did it once when they couldn't fund another turnover between those seasons, but we genuinely should have literally walked the league every one of those seasons if it wasn't for City's corruption, if it comes out to be that way. Alleged corruption, let's say, until it comes out that way. But if it is, every single Liverpool fan should appreciate what the lads have done in the last few seasons and understand why they're so tired going up against that kind of squad and that kind of money.
Mentally draining as well, boys, isn't it?
We're
asking a Brexit midfield, as we always used to call them, and you understand why it's taken so much physically out of them. City's second team, as the whole of world football knows, is capable of probably winning the Champions League or the Premier League in itself. You look at it's not right. It's not financially stable.
With this coming out as well, Jack. With this coming out as well, I would, as Liverpool players, I would take this as a boost. I would take this as a morale boosting thing for the rest of the season, and I would get angry about it, and I would play angry, and I would say to myself, Jesus, we're knackered doing this while we knew that they were all at it, but now it's coming out how badly they were at it. Like that if that's a drive to do anything just to make sure that you sustain a good position in the league, to drive on as a team for each other, that I can't see what else would. Especially, how much they've been screwed over by this team in the last few years.
Can we technically win top of the league? You never know. I don't know if it's mathematically impossible. Probably is. If Liverpool go on a 19-game unbeaten run.
16, and they would have to draw 4, lose 2.
Well, you won't be able to win 16 when they're in League 2, mate. At the end of the season.
Oh no, I'm talking about Arsenal. I'm not.
Arsenal. You never know.
They lost against the Evs, so that's a warning sign.
You speak about Arsenal. I'm just quickly checking something. Apparently, the lawyer that's ahead of the Premier League investigation into this is an Arsenal fan. Apparently, so apparently not going to influence it.
Well, yeah, big up Johnny as well. Appreciate you tuning in, mate. As I said, apologies for everyone of you. Obviously, it's been an hour episode, so if you want to listen to the beginning of the episode where we probably had a little look at the finance details and everything. So, but yeah, Johnny, probably I think all of us agree tonight. Probably won't, not in an happen, mate. Sorry, why just reminds us that. Oh, good though. Hope you well, mate, as well. Hope you a good week, and just a tiny bit. FSG were openly and outright lied to about FFP. It's why I have a modicum of sympathy for them. Even being no worries, Scouse, all good, mates. Scouse said, reckon Hippie and Van Dijk all our all-time centre backs, or Alan Hansen has to be there, maybe even Carragher. I wouldn't put in that realm of those three, mates, due to I'd put him there for probably the player that put the most effort in, and he died for the shirt and everything. But in terms of quality, I think, Carragher wouldn't even stand a bloody chance, in all honesty. But we love him to bits, and he's still a Liverpool legend, quite rightly so. But what would you say there, Kev?
I would say, I would like, they have been two of the best. Handsome is fantastic as well. Over Hoopier,
Tom was a centre half as well, wasn't he?
Tom was, he was a great centre half. But like Carragher, like you have to put Carragher in the same milk as some players. Like look, type of Conor Cody player is these days. I mean, he was a boyhood Everton fan as well before he came to Liverpool, and these are the guys that will just throw themselves in front of a football for you. Whether they're gifted or fast or whatever on the ball. I mean, Carragher started out as a striker. He scored more own goals than he did goals for us. So but I mean, he was a brilliant professional for us. We all say if we had a team of characters, you'd be winning everything just by kicking the crap out of everybody, But no, look, yeah, Hoopier and Van Dijk is a great shout. But I'd like to see, like, Van Dijk has been the best defender in the world for the last few seasons, but I'd like to see him. He deserves more, which is a shame, really, because we'll probably see one of the best centre backs to ever hit the Premier League. And if this comes out to be true, he's lost out in titles and things like that because of corruption. Really.
He'd probably solidify himself as, because that's one thing Naby was. He said, mate, do look at this Liverpool side and go, but you've only won one league title in the Champions League. It's like, still. But so you be your two, Kev. Chat, get your two. Great question by Scouse. Who would be your all-time number two?
Yeah, if I'm going, because I was born in 81, so if I'm going by 86 onwards, I seen a bit of Hansen and he was good. Yeah, I loved Hoopier. I was sorry to see him go. I nearly cried myself when he went. And Van Dijk, obviously, fantastic.
For me, I'd agree, Scouse. Obviously, only 28. Obviously, wish I could remember a lot more my early days of supporting the Reds, but I've got a brain like a bloody goldfish anyway. My memory, not the best. But Hibby and Van Dijk, I'd agree. Me, Con, would you? The one player, one centre half, most important, if he didn't have injuries, Daniel Agger would have been. I would have said if Agger didn't, the way in which the philosophy in modern day football at that time period, I think Barca were trying to sign him, even City at that time as well. But I think if Agger would have been probably up there in contention, one of the best centre halves we've had, if he just wasn't injured. But for me, it'd be Hippier and BVD.
Maybe Hippier and BVD. Like the Cara wouldn't be in the conversation with them too. For that,
he'd be
definitely in the top five.
Top five.
Agger and Cara would be your Joe Gomez, Joel Matip at the moment. They'd be in there. The lads just under the two boys. That's usually go. So we go for four-man backline with backups.
I think once Ibu's done with his Liverpool career, I think Ibu will be in that conversation of upper tier. Like where could he fit in?
Especially if he gets a couple more Champions Leagues as well, Premier Leagues. Fingers crossed. Chat. Big up, quickly rattle through these as well. You sure it is, Con? Obviously, agreeing what you said there, mate. I said you'll just say if the gloves doesn't fit, you must. I'm sure wheeling and dealing has been going on for years and years with a lot of the clubs. The Premier League don't want a regulator. That's why they got their finger out now. Yeah, 100% there, Evans. It's when stuff hits the fan, rubbish and that. That's the thing, and especially and that's the one thing to come out of this, Connor, innit? And chat as well, and Spies, as we alluded to tonight, it's the fact that if this is proven to be found that they were wrong, then these questions will post this investigation will be getting asked to the Premier League. What were you doing? What were the FA doing as well in relation to basically enforcing those FFP rules, in all honesty?
Yeah, no, again, like we said, it's the dominoes effect, and it's the aftermath of finding everything out is the worst part about it. But it's the fact that, again, like we said, it'll then get asked to other teams about certain things and certain areas, and again, it's that thing of when obviously the appeals happen and so forth, what do City, what is the punishment then? Where's what's the bare minimum you could do for Manchester City to punish them properly? Because look, that's not lie. If you give City £100 million fine, £200 million fine, does not make.
It's like fining them 10p, innit?
It makes no dent whatsoever.
So again, the crime the punishment has to fit the crime over season. So either they should get docked an amount of points over each season for the period of that time, and also the fine on top of also docked in the next 2 seasons, maybe on top of that, or stripped from the league, like Juventus, like Rangers, like all of these, and just dropped down 2 or 3 divisions like that. That's only a minimalistic. I mean, that should be happening. If this is true, that should be happening anyway. They should be dropped down out of the league.
Yeah. It's the legal ramifications as well, though, lads, in it, and chat. The legal ramifications, not just in the Premier League, but teams that they dumped out of Europe, they'd be looking at it going, Christ, they beat us in the Champions League.
They can sue.
That's the thing, isn't it? It's not just and I think there was something happened a couple of months ago where I think it come out that 9 Premier League teams were wanting City out of the league in the South as well. As Spider alluded to, it's gonna be interesting.
Well, look at the Champions League, like you said. Look at the final that they played Chelsea and they knocked out Madrid, and and we know that Florentino Perez, he firmly wants another Champions League all the time. So quite clearly he'll be looking at this and going, look, UEFA, this is what you caused, and again, it backs up the Super League argument on his end anyway, in terms of look at the corruption in that area and you didn't do anything about
it. But even saying that, look, I on the Super League, just quickly, I agreed with about 80% of what the Super League was about. It was bringing in almost 6 times the amount of money for grassroots football. So they were going to get 400 per league. They were going to get 468 million or 492 million, over I think anything from 90 to 160 million, depending on what quality of league you had and the amount of people that were in it. That was the money going up. The only thing that was wrong with the Super League really was the elitist bullshit of people not being able to get relegated. Any team from Accrington Stanley to West Ham should be able to get into that league if they're able to play well. So that's just Americanisms. Don't bring Americanisms over into English football. If you bring them over. Yeah, I mean, come here. When they started taking penalties back in the day, they used to run up like they were playing hockey. They never used to make it from the spot, So
you'll be getting you playing in the halftime 2-2, Sparta.
Yeah. I'll show up, man. I'll even put a braid into my beard from,
I'll pay 15 quid for that one. It's all right.
No, look. At the end of the day, we're going to watch this closely, Jack. I think me, you, Connor, all of us are going to watch this really, really closely. We're going to keep an eye on everything that's going on about it, and I think that there should be outrage if there's nothing done about them, and if it's found guilty and it's nothing done. I'll post a question to anybody, to you guys, and to anybody in chat. If they're found guilty, do you want the titles? I know it's not, or you might think it's not.
I've had this debate. I've had this debate with a couple of lads as well before coming here, and people are like, "No, we don't," and it's tainted.
Yeah, no, it's not tainted, not even a little bit, because we played those seasons and we earned those titles.
We celebrated those results.
For me, I would take those titles in a heartbeat. I would go and I would celebrate them. I would take them and I would say, "This is what you earned, lads." Every player that was involved in that, I'd bring them back. I'd get 3 or 4 buses. I would bang the trophies up there, and I would celebrate each one of those players because they were the ones that were done against. The supporters were one that done against, and they deserved to celebrate those titles if it was done by corruption. Let's say it was something that something stupid or that happened.
Wasn't in our control.
Yeah, it wasn't our control or something like that. And it, like extenuating circumstances, disasters that happen or things like this and that end seasons or it caused somebody to lose out in the league because of that. Then you can't say that. You would just say that's natural. This is this, but this is not natural. This is just snaky corruption. It's below the belt, brown envelopes. The worst things that can ever be involved in sport. You take away the fair play out of sport, and you take away the sport. Is what it is for me. There's no point in having it. Get rid of the leagues and start again, if that's the case, and let everybody fight from the ground up. If they're going to allow this corruption to happen, they need to do it now, and they need to get it done now. And they need to make a point out of City. They may need to make a point out of the next team. Even if Liverpool were on that list and we overspent a little bit, deduct us. I don't care a little bit if we were involved in that, but which we're not, because we all know that we spent to do it. But if they were, I'd expect the same as a Liverpool fan. I don't want to win the league with money. I want to do it fairly, and I want to be able to just spend as much as the other people that are around me. That's it. I don't want to overspend them. I don't want to do them. I don't want to buy it. But for them, they need to get done. And they need to get done. And if they say that they can strip them of the titles, I think that every team that was under them should get that title because they deserved it. They played those 38 games in the season, and those players were disappointed and heartbroken at the end of the season because of corruption.
what we'd potentially, is it an extra League Cup? Klopp would have won the League Cup in his first season. I remember that final. We all do. Obviously that was the Europa League final season as well, wasn't it? League Cup.
It would have been
So we'd have a
spot
League
in
Cup
Europe.
and a Community. Yeah.
Would have been spot in Europe as well for winning the cup.
Financials as well. Yeah. So as we said, a lot of ramifications. But as I said, get through all the last couple of comments. Been a fantastic show. And I really do appreciate the lads jumping on, obviously taking the time out to come on. Really do appreciate it. Get the lads to shout out their socials, where to find them tonight, and obviously this week. I'd like to do a lot more shows. Just obviously it was free. I think we get on really well. Well, I hope we do. So me and Connor play a lot of FIFA off camera, and just say it doesn't go well.
Do we smash controllers?
Not quite. I was like, I'll get beat by some pay to win, basically Man City on FIFA. Corruption. But they're going to keep closer eyes on these clubs going forward. 100% there. Mark saying loved Agge. Obviously Hannah, Hippie was one of my favourites. Remarkable transfer, signed up for so cheap as well. City were also charged with high Glassbury because I don't know how accurate that is, David. I don't know if you're pulling me leg there. I had a soft spot for Garcia as well, but he was a winger and not a centre half. As Scouser said there, 100%. I'd want the titles. Yeah, give us the titles. I don't blame the player. I don't blame the players on the pitch. So, chat is going to be, and quickly, as I said, I know the title, but we've got quite rightly so derailed in terms of the main talking point tonight. But this news did come out. I'm pretty sure Connor will be talking at more depth on this tomorrow on his new show. Florian Plattenberg, news about Kate, the 27-year-old, is on the verge to leave Liverpool as a free agent in the summer. News we all knew, but he's a very well-respected Bundesliga correspondent. Contract extension unlikely at this stage. Many clubs are interested to sign him, but he won't join Galatasaray. His return to Germany is not excluded. Regular starter in the last 4 matches. And that goes to show just how much of a mess Liverpool are currently. And as apologies, we haven't got to speak about obviously the results this week. There will be plenty more shows because I've actually got my backside into gear. So there'll be plenty more shows. Obviously, build-up show. Be getting Tom on. Be getting Spider and obviously Connor on very soon. But Spider, thank you very much for coming on, mate. Hope you enjoyed it as well.
I did, yeah. It's great to be back after a couple of weeks, yeah.
You can start calling me the part-timer now anyway, so part-timer. Where can everyone find you, mate? And obviously just shout out your socials. And
right. You can find me for football at Spider LFC. Hi. You can find me, that's on YouTube. You can also find me at Spider on YouTube. And you can find me at Irish Spider on Twitch. And tonight, lads, Hogwarts Legacy is coming out, and I'm going to be playing it tonight. So I've been looking forward to this game for about 8 years, and I haven't decided which house I'm going to go into. I've got this whole team set up, and it's full Harry Potter. I've even got the Hogwarts Express alerts to go across but everything, man. It's just I've gone full on in this, man, because I'm an absolute geek when it comes to Harry Potter and superhero stuff. But you'll find me there tonight. That's kicking off at midnight. So if you're all late bloomers and you're all bored and everybody's enjoying an old baby or doing whatever, come over and see me. Right.
You're a wizard, Spider.
Huh? You're a wizard.
You're what?
You're a wizard. That video, man.
You're a wizard. Oh, yeah.
Just comes out, I'm a what? You're a wizard, Harry. You're a what?
But yeah, if you're a fan of Harry Potter, you know where to find obviously Spider. Connor, thank you very much for coming on, mate. As I said, just shout out obviously where everyone can find you, please, mate. And I'm also thank you for coming on, mate, as always.
Well, thank you for having us on. It's been a while. The Cop Council, YouTube, more famously now on TikTok for some random reason. But
I hope you're doing some dances on TikTok.
I already told you, if Jude Bellingham signs for Liverpool, I'm doing a TikTok dance. That's the only time you'll see me doing that.
But we're the only club in for him now, supposedly.
Supposedly. But yeah, the Cop Council will be doing a news episode tomorrow. Usual time around 9 o'clock. So yeah, come and check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. So please, everyone do tune in on the Spiders content tonight, and obviously Connor's content tomorrow night as well. But now, thank you very much, Abens. Have a good night, Connor Spider. Everyone for food. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I was wondering who that was. I was like, oh, Kev. I was a bit.
Yeah, he moved. Sorry, he just wanted to say hello. Lads, I'm in great humour for tonight. I'm in a great humour.
I'd be very scared if that was in the corner of the room, just blinking its eyes at me.
It does, yeah. If Link's away, goes to sleep, it does everything.
Can that play centre midfield for
Liverpool? Yeah. He'd be just like your man Martinez for United. You know,
probably got better movement than half an hour midfielders.
It's just moving. Yeah, he's still going. But like, he'll keep talking to you. You can just hear him in the background.
He's a bit short to play centre half, so I don't know.
I don't know what he said. I don't know what he's going to say to you. He's using the force. Thing is lethal. I love him. It's one of the best things I ever bought.
The show. We should start the show just with Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda. Yeah. Baby Yoda. I'm getting him a Liverpool jersey.
You need to get one.
I'm getting him a Liverpool.
You could probably get him one of mine. You could probably fit in one of mine. But yeah, now big up Avens, big up everyone, as I said. Big. I'm going to shout out a lot of people, everyone, because everyone's been absolutely smashing it tonight. So big up Mark, big up Scouser, big up Avens as well, big up Hannah, big up LJ. Obviously, of course, as you said before, we did mention the top of the show, prayers for Turkey, obviously, in that corner of the world.
Sorry to butt in. Apparently, Christopher Ansu's been found alive and well. So
Ansu. That's
good news.
Yeah, so obviously thoughts and prayers go to Turkey, and obviously that part of the world, the tragedy that has happened. But obviously, shout out to obviously LJ as well, Johnny, Scouse, Liz as well. Every single one is been absolutely fantastic support. And chat, I'll try not leave it as late this week as I've been busy with uni. And as I said, the post-match reaction show wouldn't have been any different to what we've done over the last couple of weeks. Literally just rewatch it if it is. But yeah, gents, ladies as well, everyone watching, have a lovely rest of your night. I will be live tomorrow at 7 p.m. Connor will be live at 9 p.m. tomorrow, so please do head over, support his content. Spider is live tonight, very soon on, obviously, so if you got Twitch or whatever, you can find them anyway. But chat, I said, it's going to be very... What's that?
It's a one. It's a one. It's a great, it's a Hogwarts Cup. Here we go. I'm ready, lads. I'm ready for
you could have got that from your base. Sorry, it's just I'm a massive Harry Potter fan as well. But chat, enough of me, enough of us three. Have a lovely rest of your night, everyone. Look after yourselves. The Reds, hopefully we could wake up tomorrow morning, about 3 years' time, when we get more league titles. But yeah, the Reds, and hopefully, as we've said already tonight, hopefully this mentally, psychologically, physically, we never know, could give Liverpool that added boost that they've needed. The confidence, most importantly, to say this team was good enough over previous years to win league titles if they didn't get cheated out of them. Anyway, but chats, see you tomorrow, 7 p.m. on the dot. Anyway, if it haven't been delayed, should be 7, hopefully. But chat, not for me, not for us three. Have a lovely rest of your night, and we'll see you on another episode. You never walk alone. See you later.